Hi everyone. Good to see 25 of you very on time and early. So actually there are quite a few of them registered, but I am not sure whether they got my email because I sent them the email and also the Zoom link. How come there is a wait, and also live stream to YouTube. So YouTube is actually slightly delayed from the actual time. So suddenly I hear the voice, so I was interrupted. So sorry about it. I think you also got a surprise, right? Yes, let me open up the chat and see who is there. Hi, Jomei. Hi, Chu Boon. Uh, yes, Nazia, you want to say something? Yes, please. You want to test out something? You can. I see Bo Liang, Angie, Sok Lian, and everyone else. Yeah, thank you so much for joining early. To respect everyone's time, I'm going to start on time. So allow me to introduce myself, and I would also share the screen now. Just hold on for a minute. So can you all see my slide now? Can I? Okay, I need to enlarge it. Just hold on. Okay, good. So today, uh, first here, I'm actually assuming that all of you here, you are beginner. If you are more advanced or intermediate, please also let me know so that I can adjust what I'm going to share with you. All right. So today, the topic is Claude AI 101 for CEO. Why do I use the word CEO? Definitely, I think all of us here today, we are becoming CEO. I mean, there are also CEO, the real CEO so-called, who are, the top management of the company. But every one of us, even if we are not holding that position, I think we are also slowly moving to that position because in the world of AI, every one of us seem to be able to do a lot more things. And some of us may also start our own business or consulting services and stuff like that. And when if you're a startup, you probably wouldn't have the opportunity to hire a lot of people because of the limited budget, limited resources. So that situation would also force us to become CEO. I mean, there is another word for CEO, Chief Everything Officer. So I'm not sure any one of you are like me. I'm a solopreneur, but I work with partners. So a lot of times, of course, I do wish that I can expand my team. But before that, I would, do most of the thing with the help of AI. So to some extent, I I feel that I'm a super CEO now. But of course, for many of you who can be from the corporates or working for someone, right? Having this skill is also super powerful for you because everyone in this world, we are talking about, the fear of being replaced by AI. But I would, like to shift your mindset to think that if you are supercharged with the AI skill, you cannot be replaced. And in fact, your skill will be highly sought after by a lot of employers out there. Okay, so um, the key message is that I mean AI is here. We cannot deny it. We cannot also resist it. The only thing we can do is to adapt and to learn along. AI become a new language for us. Yeah, because even like some of us like founder like us, we sometimes you also think that hey we can just outsource. That is true, I can outsource, but I will outsource certain things. For example, building very complicated apps and stuff like that, I outsource to people. But when it comes to thinking, right, AI is my best companion. Yeah, so that's why I urge everyone to actually learn and adopt AI. And today I'm going to show you what AI, especially with Claude, can do for us. Okay, before I move on further, we have a WhatsApp community for Claude, so you can feel free to join us in by scanning this QR code. The one at the top here is our WhatsApp community, and the one at the bottom is our Digital AI Business Clubs community. So by the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Jane Chiu, and I'm the founder of Digital AI Business Club. And I don't really call myself CEO, because I'm a solopreneur. So my niche is AI strategy coaching. So that means, strategy coaching means we talk about how to help someone or a company to move from point A to point B. But I also want to be more AI powered because the way I deliver my service would definitely include AI powered, brain behind me. Okay, so this is how I call myself.
The Middle East, that's where the resources are, the oil,
Okay, I
minerals,
need
etc.
to
They
mute.
are going to do
I need
mass
I need someone to
bombardment
mute.
of Iran and this region, especially with
Is there
Israel
someone
targeting that
opening
area as
something,
well.
or is it me?
And that was actually one of my predictions, that the ceasefire would end and then you would see
Let me
more.
unshare and I check. Yeah.
I'm seeing Trump bomb the.
Oh, I need to mute your. Yes. So it's Sukting, is it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now it's good. Let me share the slide back. Yeah, so just now I was talking about myself as a strategy coach, and I have background from the bank, OCBC Bank to be specific, and I also work with quite a few agency, for example, Ogilvy and Matter, and also AMIA, which is a loyalty CRM program agency that help clients such as Malaysia Airlines, Procter and Gamble Japan, and so on. So with Ogilvy One, I serve clients such as Guinness Anchor, Peter Stuyvesant, all these company that requires dark marketing. I call it dark marketing because advertising to some extent not allowed for them. I also serve clients like Nestle. Okay, so that was my background, and because in the experience in the bank, I was involved in data analytics and data science. So I work with a lot of the IT and the data scientists. So we bridge the gap by using data, massaging the data, and always, try to, analyze the data and see which client we can possibly nurture them, convert them, and get them to pull more money into the bank. So that was my role. So, the job description that I just mentioned to you, is actually involving data science, involving artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence actually happened many years ago. It started in 1980s. Okay, but and it was widely used by financial institution because they have a lot of data, right? But it wasn't very famous or popular with other companies because this company tend to live in that they don't bother, not to say that I don't bother, that do not have the focus into acquiring data. Yeah, but because of the internet boom, the social media boom, and so on, right? Data is everywhere. That's why now we have generative AI because generative AI, why they become popular? I mean, one is because there is a technology, there is a method, but this thing would rely on data from the internet. So why AI become so smart? It was all because of data created by whoever during the internet boom, right? So this is the history about AI. And generative AI make AI become so easy, unlike those time when I worked for the bank or previous agency. When we want to massage data, usually we need to be quite technical. But with generative AI, we don't need that skill anymore because AI can do the job. Okay, and this is the best thing, and I really hope everyone will pick up, especially things that usually not so not being viewed as priority by most of the people out there, as which is data analytics. Okay, so now data is no longer technical. And you don't need to be, I mean, yeah, we need to be a prompt expert to some extent, but we don't need to be like prompt engineer, that kind of technical skill. We don't need to have those skills. And you are able to use AI to to use it as your brainstorming partner all the way to building apps, building a lot of application for your companies. Okay, so this can be done even by non-technical if you put in hours to learn. Okay, if you don't learn, of course the more technical one is still technical lah. Okay, yeah. So this is the so-called high level understanding about AI. Okay, now I think most of you here is to understand Claude. But can I also roughly understand if you have started using any AI tools, maybe you can type in a chat box. Let me understand where you are. Have you started using AI such as ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini? If yes, you put one in a chat box so that I know, your who I am talking to. 52 of you? 20. Okay, most of you have used it. How many, can I know if you have used Claude? If yes, you put CLAUD. Okay, so not yet, is it? Okay, quite a few, quite a lot of you. So some of you can be also master, yeah? Okay, anyway, so I think most of you at least would have used AI that is good. So I think I'm speaking to the correct group. Also, can I know, are you in the midst of, are you thinking about question about, whether Claude is better or Chat GPT is better? What is your view? Maybe you can also write your feedback in the chat box. Who think Chat GPT is better or who is unsure? Kimi K3 is better. Okay, wow. Early tester. Unsure, huh? Yes. Okay, good. For HR Pro, okay, can. All right, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, I'm going to address this info in a while. You all can still see my screen? I think I need to share. Where's the share button? Oops. Okay, I'm back to the screen now. Okay, Claude, I mean, they are it is one of the LM model developed by a company called Anthropic. So to me, basically, if you are using the chat box function, right? To me, they are quite the same. With ChatGPT, Claude or Gemini or Perplexity, I think they are quite the same. But of course, different people they prefer different platform. Claude are probably better when it comes to rephrasing your language. ChatGPT is you need to train it. Definitely, actually, all models you need to train it. But to me, ChatGPT and Claude I use them a lot. Okay, so to me, in the chat box function, there are not too much of the difference, but the differences can be at the other side. Later, I will go through. All right. So now, let me talk about Claude. Claude also have a free version and also paid version. So the free version, I think a lot of you are using paid version. So I'm not sure. So no, so many. Some of you are not using free. Some of you are using free version. I would encourage everyone. I'm not selling. For because we can't earn from all this platform. Because to me, if you really want to get the most benefit, right, you need to subscribe to at least one LM platform, either ChatGPT, Claude, or anything else. Okay, because the output that can give it to you, right, is at very different level. This is my own experience. Okay, so Claude, it has two versions, free, and then Pro. Pro is 20 USD a month. And then it comes with a lot of functions. So if I were to make comparison, right, you will see ChatGPT, sorry, yeah. So the difference between free and pro is this. You have a better usage. And then more importantly is in pro, you can use Claude Code and also Claude Core Work. And you can do a lot of research, unlimited projects. And these are the most important component in Claude. Okay, so I would really think I mean, how to justify the investment? You can, if you are a business owner, you just think of, by by just subscribing to 20 USD, you may not need to outsource, let's say, content writing, image generation to an agency that can, charge you a few thousand a month, for example, lah, right? But and for employee, of course, the best is you get your company to fork out the money, claim HRTC and learn the skill, because when you have this skill, you will become highly marketable. Okay, and by using Pro, if you use free version, you can only, ask ChatGPT, Claude, talk to Claude like a friend. That's all. Okay, not so much. So I would encourage you to go for Pro. Okay, and the other thing is, of course, free or pro, you need to look at whether how often you use them. So if you are using it, where you rarely use it, like let's say you are not in the job of, especially computer task kind of job. So maybe then you don't need the paid version. You just go for the free version, right? So whether you are solo and then you need to also think if you have a team, who are you going to subscribe it for? Okay. So all these are the questions to help you decide whether you go for free or pro. And then if we were to look at the comparison of all the main LLM models out there. So Claude, to me, they are very good in writing and deep analysis, and they also have very good coding and hands-on tasks. For ChatGPT and Gemini, they are also strong. Of course, they will be catching up. All right. So you wouldn't know, in another 1 year who is the leader. And then in ecosystem-wise, ChatGPT has the widest because ChatGPT can do better job in video and also image. Claude is lacking of that. And Gemini can also do video and image well. And Google, as you know, Gemini is a family of Google. And Google, if you are using Google Workspace already, then Gemini can be a tool. You can actually use it, right? Yeah, so when we talk about multimodal and context window, right, Gemini is the best. Price-wise, they are the same. It looks the same, but then if I were to compare Claude and ChatGPT, Claude token usage is higher, demanding higher. So to me, Claude is a more expensive version compared to ChatGPT. So far, so good. Okay, so now I would like to, instead of talking to you from the slide, I would like to go into a written blog post. Okay, this one, because over here I have all the prompts. I would like to go through a scenario of a business owner called Farah. And then from here, you can actually visualize how Claude can be used in your business or your work. Okay, so Farah, let's assume Farah is actually a hairdresser or event styling business, okay, in Petaling Jaya. So of course, as a business owner, her job is to do a lot of events. You can imagine, she has to, I think the main thing is to acquire clients and then follow up with the clients, follow up with all the event details and so on. Okay, so imagine how she is going to walk through this Claude maturity ladder. This is what I call it lah. So in Claude, especially if you are new, you always get yourself started as the amateur or the beginner, right? But there are actually 6 steps to go. So the first one is the amateur. The second one is the regular. That means you can see I enlarge it a bit. Okay, the amateur, basically they use chatbots, talk, converse only, okay? And then the regular is the one that started to build real workspace. And then the third one is the integrator, because they already know how to connect Claude to different tools. And then it become a mini workflow for them. Okay, and then of course, there are another 3 levels, which is a higher level. I call it the operator. Yeah. So that instead of them just integrating the tool, right, they can actually get the tools to start working. Just give instruction and then it will just run it on its own. So this is what we call the operator. And then the builder and the orchestrator is another level. This one slightly more technical already. These are the people who use code. Okay, so let me see what are the differences. So most of just like Farah, most of the business owner that would probably, just ask a simple question like, for example, hey, I want to create an event. I want to market my event to somebody. Can you give me a marketing plan? Sorry, a marketing message for the event for WhatsApp, for example. So Farah will start writing to chatbox and then Claude will respond. So if you're using this level of Claude, this one is what we call one question and one answer, right? You ask, then it gives you an output. So which is good. I think many of us are very happy with the output. Okay. But there are better way when we use the chat box, right? So the best thing is, of course, I think some of you would have learned how to do prompting, right? Prompt, we always start with a role. Act as a marketing manager. I would like to do what? And I would like to, my aim is to get 30% conversion, and I want to become country #1 event company. For example, this is your what you want, right? So you talk to chat box and then it gives it many ideas, right? Then it can give you better output, right? But what is the better way of even doing prompting? Actually, prompting is very, very important. If you know the prompt, we can do a lot more things. So in Claude, right, what is recommended for you to do is to make Claude interview you first. So you can see this is a sample prompt. For any task, I would usually put, I need help with what? Then you need to describe. Example here is a follow-up message to a client who hasn't confirmed their booking. Okay, and then before you answer, this is the important thing. Before you answer, ask me any question you need to do well. You need to do well. So you are asking Claude to give you, to interview, to ask clarifying question. Okay, so what you can do is you copy this prompt, you come to here. Let me open the new window. Okay, I need help with what? Anyone can want to put something here. I need help with booking a trip to Bangkok. Let's say, before you answer, ask me any question. You need to do well. Because in the past, we usually give suggestion, let's say here. Okay, usually we put a one line sentence like that, right? Then we will ask either ChatGPT or Claude to give us suggestion, correct? But now in Claude, what you can do is before you answer, ask me any question. Let it run for a while. Yeah, this is how Claude will come back and ask you question. What is the main purpose? Yeah, because in our original one sentence prompt, we didn't give a lot of context. Whether I'm traveling for leisure or I'm traveling for work, right? So I never give this context. Then you ask anyone, don't talk about AI, you ask your mother, father, your children. They also, no clue how to answer you because this question is too broad, right? So you need to give a lot of context to AI technically. Okay, but of course, this one is not just for Claude. You can use it in any other AI tool. All right. So in this case, you answer you pick the answer business and some leisure. Because usually we go for work. We also see where else we can go, right? Then you will keep asking me, how long, that kind of stuff. So I will answer this question. Let's say all these things sometimes it gives you all the example, right? We never thought of also. So it also forces to think what exactly we want before it gives you the output, right? So then only it will generate the information for you. Okay, so this is just on the prompting. I think some of us may or may not know how to use it well yet. Where is my, here, okay. So far, so good, And also the other tips is, the second habit is, you ask Claude to check his own work. Is it a strange thing to have? I mean, yeah, you always ask Claude to check because sometimes you ask Claude to give you a formula. So you always ask Claude to check back to see whether what they say makes sense. Okay, I think somebody talked, I muted Cheryl just now, so I'm not sure whether she's talking to me. I think it's an accident. Okay. Okay, so now moving beyond using AI as chatbot, we would need to think about workspace. Okay, so just now I was trying to cover, you can, when you at the first stage, if you are amateur, beside mastering your prompt, the two important tips you should get here is these two. You get Claude to interview you first. Make Claude check his own work. For example, you ask Claude to give you a budget, compute your accounting statement, for example. And then after it gives you an Excel file, right? You can ask Claude to check the work. So then Claude will put up that head and then check the work again. Because I want to highlight AI can be wrong and sometimes can be very wrong. So important presentation, you really need to check. So sometimes I actually help a client to do branding and positioning kind of thing. They give me a lot of input, and I also use it to output whatever I want to output for the client. But after Claude come out with the output, right, I need to recheck everything, just checking. So the checking part can take a lot of time. Yeah, so you do not underestimate it. Because sometimes the client will suddenly ask you, hey, I never say this, you know. Then you will be caught up. If you yourself do not know your facts, do not fully rely on AI. You yourself need to understand why AI come up with that output and you use it confidently. Because when you present whatever thing to your client, you never know what they will ask you. And you really need to know the facts. Okay, so this is the tips for you. Okay. The stage 2 would be what I call the regular, right? So now the regular means they are moving beyond using just Q&A. They are using Claude to create workspace. For example, let's say I'm a marketing person or actually a strategy coach. So if I have different clients, I will create different projects. Project for client A, project for client B, right? So why do I want to do that? Because I want to organize it. And I do not want Claude to actually mix up all my brand guides. Because when I use Claude myself, right, I'm also a content creator for the blog post. So I use Claude. I also need to train Claude on what kind of content I want to use and what brand guide I want Claude to follow, right? So I have one project for that purpose. And if I were to handle another client, if I don't split out the project, I put everything in the chat, in the chat there, then Claude will be confused. You get me? So we will use Claude project to turn chat into a workspace. Okay, so let me navigate back to Claude. Here is my Claude. No, yeah, this is my Claude. Okay, so I'm actually assuming you guys are not total beginner. That's why I never, start the session to tell you where are chat box and so on. But now I just roughly tell you lah. So this is the left panel. If you want to start a chat, you click on new chat, or by default, you usually come here, right? So this is where you start asking your question, right? Yeah, so the project that I mentioned just now is here. So these are the project that I can create, right? So for example, digital AI, because I told you I am a digital AI, I'm the founder, I create content for digital AI. So I would create a project here. And then what I need to do is I describe it here, and then I need to give instruction here, what it needs, what I need this project to help me with. So I need to, train this project, or I call it memory also. So here, all these are the memory thing that I need to train. Okay. So that whenever I come here, I talk to Claude, right? I do not need to repeatedly put all this information again. It will help me, right? Because imagine if everything I put under new chat, my new chat, all this chat, I have so many chats here. I have so many chats over time. In ChatGPT, I also have a lot more. I have a lot more because I started with ChatGPT. So everything I put here, right, then it will be quite confusing for Claude lah. So if you don't specify this thing, if you want to use outside can, but you have to, every time you do a specific client's job, right? You have to rewrite all the instruction. You get what I mean? So you have to rewrite and then put here, you can update the file. Lor, right? So, but if you organize it in project, then everything is locked here. You don't need to rewrite those information that you always want Claude to know. You only update it when it's changed. So this is what we call, yes, this is what I call turning a Claude project. We turn chat into a workspace. Okay, so we use project for that purpose. And then you need to create a master prompt, so that master prompt, and then put it under instruction so that project would know what to do every time you run something there. So you can add your files. Just now did I show you? You can add files here. Yeah, you can add all these files here, like brand guide or whatever. It depends on your role. This one is just for, is an example that I want to show you today. Okay. So far, any question? Let me pause for a while. What is Claude's strength? And weakness versus, okay, I showed that earlier just now. Can I use Claude instead of Notebook LM? Yes. Okay, actually, Notebook LM is a very good tool because Notebook LM it is like acting like what we call RAG, like a knowledge base for us. For example, if let's say I'm a content creator, I would research a lot of articles from the internet and also YouTube, right? I will put them into Notebook LM for Notebook LM to digest or ingest the information for me and then produce another output for me. Notebook LM is very good for that. Claude also can be used in the event if you can actually connect to something called Auspedian. If you want to use Claude like Notebook LM, because Claude is kind of expensive. Every time if you upload any articles up there, right, it will consume token for it to process for you. So if you are connecting to tools like Obsidian, so Obsidian, the benefit is that Obsidian can actually help you to turn all the articles into Markdown file, which is something cheaper for this kind of AI tools to process. So you can also use Claude in that manner, and Obsidian is free. So I think previously in our digital AI club, we have Carmen who shared this topic before. Okay, so let me go through the question again. If write in ChatGPT can also use in Claude. Yes, to some extent, yes, they are the same. They are quite the same. But because of Claude, right, Claude emphasized a lot of the importance of giving enough context to AI to process your request. Actually, same, ChatGPT also the same. Yeah. So the context, when you write the prompt, the input, the files you upload is important. You just have to imagine when when you train your AI, it's like training your kid. Just now I mentioned, I just asked a simple question. I want a travel plan to Bangkok, and I don't give a lot more info. Then ChatGPT, Claude is going to give you answers from all over the place, and then you happily use it. But if you give it very specific information, then it gives you very, very good suggestion. You get what I mean? It filter out the rest of the things, right? So for example, you are going to Bangkok with your client, not your family. Then client is who? For what purpose? Then the itinerary come out from Claude can be very different. So you need to imagine training AI is like training your kid or training your staff. But actually, training AI is easier than training your kid or staff. Because sometimes the staff also, we train many times, or our kid also, or people train me also the same. How many times only I understood. But AI very clever. Correct or not? So as long as you give enough context, after that, if let's say this information is the same all the time, you do not need to write it using project. So this is what I try to tell you if you are moving into the workspace. Okay. Aisha will ask, do you recommend asking ChatGPT for creating Claude prompt? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. That is a smart way also. let's say you're using web coding platform. For example, AI Studio or Lovable. I'm not sure whether you heard about that, but this platform allows you to create website, to create apps. But in order to save token, you can use ChatGPT to create a prompt first. You can also use Claude, but as I mentioned, Claude is more expensive in my view. So yeah, you can use ChatGPT for sure. For all this thinking partner kind of job, you can use ChatGPT. Yeah. Yeah. Shuko say, yeah, you can scold AI and it cannot scold you. And you cannot scold yourself. You are right. You scold, then the staff don't turn up for work. That is very right. If AI really become a real human, we may be in danger. I don't think this will happen. Yeah, lah. They say the robot thing in the movie, yeah, they can become a companion pet kind of stuff. But human need to know, lor, they are still not human. They are trained to talk to you that way. Yeah, but they cannot be human. Yeah. Do you recommend? Okay, what else? Could you share digital AI? Okay, I will share that. First thing first is I want to make sure you all join the, what do you call that? WhatsApp group first, because we always share our new content there, our workshop there. So you can join this chat box. I just sent in the chat area there. You just click and join the WhatsApp group. And then after this talk, I'm going to also send you the recording via the WhatsApp group. Okay? Yeah, let me go back to the deck. I haven't finished because too much to cover. Where is the share button? Here. Okay, so this is project, yeah. The other one is this one, connector. So this is the integrator. We are talking about stage 3 now. So we can use Claude to connect to different apps. Let me show you. Yeah, this is the Claude interface. So if I click on the plus sign here, you will see connector, right? These are the apps that I have connected. I can connect Claude to my Google Calendar, to my Google Drive, to any other, video making or image making tool. Notion is a project management thing. Canva is for you to create image, right? So I can connect. So whatever prompt I put here, right, I can instruct, oh, these are my new event attendees. Please manage my CRM in Notion. So then because I connected, right, it will show up here. It will get updated here. This is Notion and the interface I show you. And these are my real data. So I will scroll very fast so that you cannot see. Okay, so this connector. Any question? Understand, these are connector. So if you know how to create, if you can connect, right, you can also do a lot of work because you do not need to manually. For example, in the Faras, if you go back to my blog post here, sorry, this one. Yes. Uh, our Farah, right? She, I mean, later I'm going to share this article with you. You can go through. In this article, I also show you the progress of Farah because when we learn AI, right, it takes time. Even though when I talk to you, it seems like, wow, so easy. I can immediately create my project, which is true lah. But then before you create your project and your workflow, there are a lot of thinking process behind. You have to really have the habit, right? After this session, go back, and then every day when you do your work, right, you always start with Claude or ChatGPT. to, to see how you can write your prompt, to see how you can create a workflow, to identify what are the repeated workflow you can automate. Because if you don't have that in mind, right, you may not make full use of Claude. You only use the chat box only. Okay, so let's say in this case, Farah, right, after 2 weeks, because she's moving away from just using chatbot, so now she realized that she's typing the same context every single time when she needs to do something or email her client. So the standard thing she has to do all the time. So now then she actually set up a club project, and then she also connect to email. She also connected to her Gmail, for example. So once she connected to Gmail, right, she can actually get Claude to write a reply, because Claude can access her Gmail account and then read through the thing and then draft a reply. So when it draft a reply, it will let's say it sits here in the draft, because let's say I just show you, I'm not sure which one. So it will actually sit here. Okay, so for us to review, once we review, we okay, then we click the send button, because you wouldn't want AI to send for you, correct? Because you need to check, as I mentioned. So far, okay. Let me come back here. Okay. Oh, okay, in this blog post, right, I also have this thing you can try out. Just now I didn't mention that. Let me come back here. For prompt, for your Claude project, you can also get Claude to help you write. Okay, you can mention something like, interview me to build a master prompt for my role as what and what. Ask me about how I work, who my customers are, and what I usually trying to get done. Yeah, so this is something you can ask Claude to do for you, and then you paste it in your project instruction or description. Okay. So this one I just mentioned about now I'm talking about connecting to Gmail already. Okay, so talking about connecting to all these tools, you can also use this prompt. Okay, turn repeated tasks into a process. Okay, so the prompt is like this. I do what? You need to describe a task you repeat weekly or more, the same way most time. Interview me how I currently do this. Then write it up has a clear, repeatable set of instruction I can reuse. So this is how you can brainstorm with Claude. Again, this one, yes, just now someone asked, can use ChatGPT to do or not? Also can. Especially if now you you use ChatGPT has a main AI, and ChatGPT would know you quite well. You can also, it makes sense for you to ask ChatGPT, and then the output that ChatGPT give you, you can bring it over to Claude to use it. Okay, so these are the things. And as I mentioned, just now I mentioned already, Claude can help you to so-called link to the connectors, such as link Gmail, Drive, Notion, Calendar, and there are many more tools out there. It can also help you to visualize charts, dashboard very well. And the best thing is you can create artifacts. Artifacts is it looks like it can be presentation slides, but in website. So for example, how to go there is something like this. Artifacts is here. For example, I created something called AI profit leak, revenue leak. So I actually created it using Claude. So people can actually go through question here and then answer, and then they can actually get an assessment report from there. Okay, so this is artifacts. What else? Yeah. Okay. So today we would not be able to cover all about the core work, but I want to let you understand the difference. Let me go to here. Okay, so now let's say you already understood, we can actually build connector visualization and artifacts with Claude. And then the fourth stage is you can actually try to identify the repeated tasks that I mentioned just now. So for example, uh, now that you have all the tools connected, the next thing is you want to identify what are the repeated tasks you do, and then you run the prompt that I mentioned to you just now. And then you can get AI to help you write the system prompt and then help you to write the skills and also schedule tasks for you in Claude. Okay, so these are the things minimally you should understand what Claude can help you to do. So actually, I want to show you an example of, where is it? Of skills. Oh, I don't know where I put it. Where is it? Hmm. I think I really don't know where I put it now. Nah. There is also another, okay, I found another example. So what skill is you can actually, let's say I'm a strategy coach, right? So I sometimes need to help my client to run their brand positioning. So I can use this guide because I do not want to rewrite all these requirement all the time. So I actually set up step by step for me to help my client to find what is their best positioning. For example, the output I want is to analyze between the client and also the competitor. And then AI is going to be able to help me check on the what I call white space here because competition is too huge, right? We want to find which of the segment is less competition, right? So AI can actually help me to run all this analysis for me. So in this article, I actually write down all the prompts and the steps to go towards it. For example, let's say I want to identify my competitor. If you do not use skill, right, you can definitely also use prompt to achieve the same manner, right? You can just copy and paste these prompts into your chat box, but you have to change all the information in the bracket according to what you want and also your target audience and so on. So once you paste it into the Claude interface, you will definitely see output from there. So you can, run through all these prompts step by step. But what I wanted to tell you is not about the prompt. I wanted to tell you because this is, let's say, my is something I need to do all the time, right? I can actually use Claude to create skills. So how does skill looks like? All these are my skills. So I have actually created a lot of skills. Like for example, I'm also a trainer, right? So all the time I need to create HRDC compliant training outline or course, So I have all the skills written properly. So let me just open this one just an example lah. So I would have gotten ChatGPT, sorry, Claude to help me write all these skills, and these are my workflow: identify input type, run gap analysis, confirm target audience, build my blueprint, produce full sales copy pack, all this. So I actually need to specify down very detailed. And then next time when I run this again, I do not need to repeatedly write it again. You get what I mean? So this is my skill. For example, once I have it here, let's say I want to write a thing. Okay, this one I'm not going to do it through project. I just do it here. So I will just, call for this skill, create a course for AI, AI strategy for profit. I simply put only, this one doesn't make sense one. Okay, so I just say something like that. Then it will run something for me without me writing all the thing that I wanted. I have written in my skill. So it will take a while to run. So you see, it will load my brand OS because in my skill, I mentioned you must always load my brand OS and also follow the rest of the guidelines. And then there are also do and don'ts that I mentioned in the skill. So you will actually follow my instruction, which I have written it very in detailed manner, and then it will run for me. So you see, because I also instruct, ask me anything if you need clarification. Because so in this case, I will just need to search or confirm the target audience. Yeah, so I just simply click for demo only. Okay. So this is how what skill is. Okay. So for now, I let it run first. Any questions so far? I think skills is a very useful thing for now for beginner. Any question you want to ask? Let me stop share first. Please feel free to open your mic if you want to talk to me now. Sai, you have question?
May I know where we find where do we go to build the skills?
Okay, you can write there are a few ways. There are definitely some website you can either buy or download free. But the thing is, these skills are built by another person. So sometimes when we use it, we need to be careful. In digital AI, we also created some skills. If you want, you can also download from there. Because just now I couldn't find I couldn't find the other example. So but the brand guideline itself, right? You can also I have the skill info there. Wait. Competitor analysis. For example, this one, right? I have created all the skills in order to produce what I wanted to show you just now. So this one is another piece of work because just now the one I show you is more on comparator analysis, but this one also shows you how to do the SWOT analysis. So you can actually download the skills from this article. So this one is I internally do it, but in the website, in some other website, sometimes people also offer it. Either they sell it to you or you use theirs, but you just need to double check whether theirs is safe to use. But most of the time should be okay lah. But you need to double check because you wouldn't know because sometimes skill they also instruct you can put a lot of instruction like connect to this and that, right? So you need to look after your own data lah. You don't want another party be able to go into your own data lah, correct? So you need to go through all the skill carefully lah. So how to upload? You need to learn how to use CoreWork. CoreWork is a desktop-based Claude. You need to learn how to use CoreWork and then upload the skill. Then you can go into more advanced mode to automate your workflow already. So today I am covering the top three. Just now I talked about the 6 boxes, right? So I'm covering the chat box, the project, and the skill. So these are the 3 things I think at least you should understand how to use it. Because if you go straight into core work also, may be challenging. Yeah, so now for now, until let's say I have future webinar, you can come and join. Hopefully we can also share you with core work knowledge. You can slowly learn because as I mentioned, like the Farah's case, right? For her to get into identifying the connector, it will also take her time, even though she knows there is such a skill, but in normal scenario, right? Most of us will have to go through our internal workflow. We have to rethink. Oh, this is Claude, and this is what AI can do for me. And then slowly you need to drive your workflow and the AI knowledge, and then you have to create another workflow based on them. So this process will take time, man. So you just need to start having the habit to have the system thinking with you whenever you use AI. Hey, I have this problem. Can I use AI? Slowly you would have your own workflow. That is the best for you. Okay, and then you can also create your own skill instead of using people's skill. Okay, so because as I mentioned, you use people's skill, everyone, like content marketing, I actually have it in the blog post also. You can also download. I mean, this one is offered to the subscribers. You can also download and use it for the start. But over time, I'm sure you are going to change to your own skill because you have your own brand voice, you have your own color tone, you have your different way. So something like that. So that's why, yeah. So you will need to learn how to create your own skill, which is not difficult. Okay. Yeah, I think some of you need to leave. Yeah, I would like to thank you all so much. Just remember to join the WhatsApp group. I'm going to share some of the links that I shared just now so that you can read through. Yeah, so we will connect from there. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Okay, bye.